How's it going, Sha?
Not bad. Not bad. Um,
Okay.
I uh, I feel like I mentioned this maybe last week that I had to replace like all of my stuff. Maybe not all of my electronics.
What happened?
They all just started acting up like hardcore around the same time. So,
Wh-
the laptop is full, right? My laptop is full of knowledge and wonderment, none of which I can seem to delete enough of to get it so that things can work. And I said, that's fine. We'll just, you've been with me for a while, 6 years maybe.
Right.
That's roughly that's about the amount of life you have in you. I understand. I'll get another one. And I made that decision, but still hadn't gotten the other one yet. Was just kind of looking around. So my laptop was like, "You moving too slow. I don't think you realize how close I am to dying." So it just started. It started just running my disk drive.
Oh.
Now I don't have a disk in there, so it was just
Right.
a constant, just that whirling of it. The laser trying to read something that hasn't been in there for years, and I just went, "Huh." Okay,
Okay.
so I have to open that drawer in order to stop that sound. It may start it again, actually, I'm still on the old machine. So I ordered a new machine. Yeah, no, this would have been after last week's show, 'cause I ordered it, the day our show came out.
Okay.
And it was gonna come from Amazon. Wonderful, lovely. Sorry, everyone, had to use Amazon. And then the next day, my phone, when I did that, I wrote down in my journal, took care of the laptop this week. Next week or the week after, I'll take care of the phone. I just got to get a pay period in there. I got to get a check before we got to maneuver. But, we'll get it done. Don't worry, phone. I thank you for your service. It certainly has been long enough. And then the following day, after I ordered the laptop, the next day my phone was like, "You taking too long,"
Oh
and
no.
just literally death dropped. Just like, the SIM card just stopped working. Unreadable, no number, nothing, just failure. SIM card failure. I'm like, what?
Yeah, nobody touches it. It's
Nobody. I'm like, I've never gone into the phone, because my understanding is, in order to get into a cell phone to retrieve the SIM card, your keys, whatever it is, you have to get a mechanic to do it. I can't do it. And so I was like, well, I can try to see what the SIM card issue is, or I guess I can just go ahead and fucking buy another phone, which I planned on doing. I just got to move everything up a month. I already have 2 bricks of instant ramen. We'll be fine. Right? If I'm left over with enough money to buy a cooked rotisserie chicken, I'll be okay.
okay. Okay.
So then I went in to get the phone, and I went I had a discussion with my roommate, and I decided to go to the Apple store, which I never do. I've always gone to Verizon, who's my service provider. And I'm like, I'm gonna go to the Apple store because I have my eye on a certain amount of storage,
Okay.
which is a lot. And Verizon never has the phones that have a lot of storage. They always are like, "Oh, you got to mail away. We can send it to you." And
Right, right.
when it comes to phones, I want to walk in with my old phone and walk out with my new phone, working as if
Right.
nothing. I'm not doing it myself. I pay too much. I want one of your in-house mechanics to get this bitch running.
Yeah.
So the old phone that I had, lovely phone, but didn't have the amount of storage I actually wanted. but I was in a bind, and that was the most I had. And I'm like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah.
So I'm like, this time I'm going to Apple, because Apple seems to be geared towards people who just have $2,000 just laying in their pocket, just pocket change. So they probably have ridiculous things. So they probably have the version of this phone that I want. And I went in there and I was like, all right, I'm ready to buy a phone. And a young man helped me. And we did everything. And then we got to the setup table where he passed me off to someone else, where we discovered the young man did many of the things wrong. He didn't activate the phone. He didn't ask about activation or anything like that. I was going to trade in the old phone, and they do that by taking pictures of it with one of their Apple house phones that everybody has on them. And so it looks like my old phone has some screen damage. There are some chips and cracks or whatever, but all of that damage is on the screen protector.
Yeah.
But he didn't take the screen protector off before he took the pictures. So it looks like I just brought in this banged up phone. They gave me like $15 and a can of Sprite for it, for a trade-in. And then we get so disrespectful. So then we get over to to setting it up. So we're transferring all the stuff over to the new phone. Now it's just about the activation thing. The young woman who's helping me there is like, okay, so we'll call up Verizon. We'll have them take care of that transfer, and then you'll be good to go. Great. Wonderful. Lovely. She had to go to lunch, so someone else came to help me. I was there long enough for people to have to go. Shifts were ending. I went from afternoon shift to night shift trying to get this stuff done. And then we go through all this rigmarole. There's still some issue with the SIM card. So they're like, all right, well, we'll just need to just put in a burner SIM card so that we can at least transfer. We'll put the phone number on that, then we'll transfer that over, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay. The guy helping me at this point pulls like a hairpin out of his afro, and he just sticks it in and pulls the SIM card out. I was like, that's all it takes? It just like a bobby pin? So they finally get all of that done. And then Verizon, the woman there, is just like, oh, well, I tried it, and for some reason it won't go through. You have to turn on your 2-factor authentication. And I'm like, that don't even make sense. Okay. I answered all my questions for you. Like I
can't be more Shalewa.
Yeah. So I have to turn that old phone on again, put in the 2-factor yucks. We do try the thing again. And she's like, well, no, it won't. It's not going through. So you have to wait 24 hours before I can try again.
What?
And so we're like, huh? And a manager comes by and is asking the young man helping me, like, what's going on, because everything that you do, you have to ask a manager to bring you a thing. So the guy had to bring us a SIM card. He had to bring us the phone to call Verizon on, because they only have like one landline or some shit. So there's one cordless phone that everybody uses.
You slowing down Apple over here, yo.
I mean, and so when we're explaining it to the manager, and when we got to the 24 hours, he was like, this is Verizon? And we said, yeah. And he said, this must be something new they're doing. You're the third person today who's been told by Verizon you have to wait 24 hours to activate before they'll activate the new phone, before they'll switch the service. And I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, they used to just switch it, no problem. But now it's as if they want you to go to them. Like they don't want us to do it at all.
Huh.
And I'm like, oh, great. And they're like, there's a Verizon store right down the street, but chances are, because they've already tried once, if you go in there and try again, they won't do it, and you might have to wait longer or something. And I'm like, well, look here, I need to walk out with a phone that works. So what do we do? So in order to walk my old phone back out, I had to pay back. I had to give him back the can of Sprite for the trade-in. So I had to buy back my phone and take my new pocket computer out into the world. And the Verizon woman said she would call me the next day around that time. Of course she didn't. Why would they? So I was responsible. I had half service on both phones, and I was responsible for 2 pocket computers.
Oh my God.
For the weekend, and then finally got the new one switched over. And I went to a Verizon store where the guy the whole time was just like, well, I hope they gave you a good deal at Apple because they don't do that. You could have gotten a better deal here, but I guess it's done now. And I'm like, bitch, if you don't change this fucking service over.
Don't be bragging.
Yeah. Are you guys great? Because I bet if I asked, do you have this one with this much storage, it ain't in here. How about that? Exactly. I know it ain't in here. This store is too small. I'm damn near at a kiosk in the middle of the mall. I know you ain't got this one. This little horse cart here ain't big enough to hold the plus ones.
Know your position, okay?
Yeah. Don't get all high and mighty with me when you know damn well you're gonna try to switch me to Android because that's all you got in stock.
I don't want your galaxies, your skies, your universes, keep all that shit.
None of that. And it's not that I'm so loyal to Apple. Honestly, I think everybody's shit. I think they're all terrible because I got my new computer and it's a PC. So it's got Microsoft stuff built in and it wants my firstborn child in order to let me get on the goddamn. As long as we all pledge our allegiance to Microsoft, then maybe it'll let me search something.
Hey, I have really wanted to switch away from my iPhone. Yeah. I love how the iPhone works in every way except how it talks to my computer. They don't like each other. They got straight up beef. Like I've been trying to transfer pictures.
That's Apple.
For like 7 years.
I've been forced to get iCloud because what I would do is plug in my phone, look at all the stuff, the folders for the stuff on my phone, drag all my pictures over to my computer, and then we good. And I did that like all the time. And then I could delete whatever. So I'd still have space on my phone, but I had the pictures saved on my computer. Phones were living a little bit longer. Apple don't like that. My first iPhone, I had that bitch for like 5 years. I was like, I ain't playing around with you. Once I figure out how to do this. So once they got rid of iTunes, which was the way that you could update things and everything, even with then it was just like, no. So my phone, I haven't been able to do that at all. And I like backing up my phone on the regular. And I can't because I have and I'm like, are you trying to get me to buy a MacBook just for the phone? Like the phone gets its own computer? Y'all tripping.
Straight tripping. Up. That's how it feels. And I'm like, yo, I don't like I love iPhones and I even like iPads, but I've never gotten used to Macs as a computer. But I feel the same way. I'm like, I need to get a fucking Apple computer just for this phone. It's not fair, like and like I need it daily because like as we're comics, I record every set. So like I like to transfer the audio to listen to it while I'm working, but like instead when I'm typing in front of my like super professional audio system, I'm playing the freaking audio off of my iPhone speaker.
Right.
While I'm standing next to $800 speakers, like listening to my set from yesterday. It's stupid. It makes no sense, and like I've told this to Apple people and they're like, oh, so why don't you connect your phone to Bluetooth speakers? I'm like, I'm not trying to add speakers either. You're not understanding my problem. Like, I don't want more periphery Apple shit. That's the point. I love the phone. I'm not knocking people that like the computer. It's just, I'm not one of them. I like this computer. I like this phone. They should be able to talk.
I tell you, one day, I'm putting this out there. This is what I'm manifesting. I will have my own little place, right? I'm going to have either my own little studio apartment that I bought, my own little co-op, whatever it is. I'm going to have a place and your girl's going back to landlines. Fuck all of y'all. I'm going back to a landline.
Hell yeah.
I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm
Straight
going to
up.
a landline. I'm bringing one of those tape decks that they have at the library where you push play and record at the same time. You put all your weight on it.
Hell
Huge, like that's the size of a brick. I'm putting that on the stool. That's how I'm recording my tape, on actual cassettes.
I love this.
And I'm going to play. I already have in storage, and I bet this shit still works. I have my CD player that has dual cassette. I won't let that go.
How you shouldn't. Nah. I wonder how successful do you have to be as a comic to pull that off? Where I don't got social media because I only got a landline. I record you can't do that where we're at. Like we're cutting off too much.
I mean let's see. The closest to a Luddite.
No social.
Oh, Janine Garofalo.
Right. Literally.
She has a cell phone.
Yeah.
And if you want to ask her to do something, you can call her cell phone.
Straight up. And even that,
and that's
she'll forget the phone.
Yeah.
She'll be like, oh yeah, I think I brought it today. Like that, she lives her life so different. And I think it's beautiful. She's like, yep, I got none of that shit.
There are fans who are just like, we keep track and we'll post, in lieu of what, but she doesn't do any of that shit.
Right, none of that. I literally just asked her to do a show a week ago. She's like, yeah, I'm down. Let me see if I got my phone with me. I'm like, yo, that's wow. That is dope. Like you just out here in the world. Like no cell.
I love it. I love it. That's why she walks everywhere. And that's why she's my favorite.
Straight up.
I'm ready. I'm absolutely ready because this is ridiculous.
Yeah, we got to go analog, Sha.
I can't. I had to use the cloud. I don't need my titty pictures in the cloud. No one needs that.
You said something too that really made me it contemplated something you were the way you phrased it about your computer made me realize there's no way of getting a locally sourced computer.
No. Oh, I had to get it from Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can't just have this is a farm grown PC.
What I used to do in the days of the computer tower, I would just buy the parts and then have a friend put them together or something. You know what I mean? And build it out. And
my current computer's that.
Yeah, and I can't. I don't live a life where I can do that anymore.
Yo, that's how I my computer is able to do a lot of tech stuff, but I couldn't afford it. The Apple version of it was $15,000.
Right.
I was like, I can't do that. And then even if I bought a PC builder to do it, it was gonna run 6-7. So my boy worked at Micro Center.
Yep, that's the spot.
Yeah. So he said, yeah, I'll build it for you. Just buy the parts. And he helped me out with picking the parts. He hooked me up with his discount. And we were able to get everything for $2,500. And he put it together. And I was like, yo, you need any bread for this? He's like, nah, this is Legos for me. He's hype as hell. He loved that shit. He was like, yeah, I love doing this stuff. So I gotta
get back to that because it's ridiculous. Because of that, I now know the sound of a power supply going bad.
There you go. Yeah. It's exciting putting them together.
Yeah, yeah.
Real talk.
I don't, it's better than having your disk drive just suddenly run and then pop out on you.
You know what I realize now, Shatsu? There's no way of self-building your cell phone.
No, there's not.
They don't sell cell phone kits like that.
I feel like Apple just got to the point where they were forced to all right, we'll replace your battery. You got us. We do have the battery set up to go bad after 2 years, right when your contract ends. Also, that was the other thing. I ain't do no contract or nothing. I bought that shit outright.
Go ahead, yo.
I was like, oh, I'm not financing a goddamn thing. Give me my whole computer. I can't. This is going to hurt me, and that's why I have the instant ramen, but I'm not doing this with you. I want this to be over when it's over.
Yeah, you treat them like car dealerships, yo.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about
cash.
finance.
I'm
yo.
like, nope.
You don't need to know my credit, okay?
Yeah. Y'all asking too many questions. You want this cash or not? I literally just fanned it. I came in pretending I was talking on the phone with a huge pile of cash, but I didn't have it all wrapped together. It was just loose change I was holding up to the side of my face.
Oh, man, this is so awesome. Yo, they're going to talk about you forever, yo. That's just dope.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I'm glad your tech is working again. Hopefully nothing else falls apart.
No, actually, when I go back into the office, my work computer froze as well. When I say all computers around me, it broke too. And I was like, I told the IT person, like, I don't know, maybe a month ago, I was like, go on and get me a new computer. And they were like, is yours bad? And I was like, not yet, but I have a feeling. So, and it showed up yesterday, like at the end of the day. And I was like, good, because I haven't been able to print off of this thing for 2 days. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So once I get that done, then maybe there will be peace in the valley. But
I'm rooting for you. You know what I mean? You deserve working PCs and computers around you.
At least.
You know, it's the least we can ask for what we do. You know? Let's get into the news.
All righty.
Will Smith and how he feels.
What?
About the Chris Rock comedy slap.
Huh?
Verbally. You know what I mean? That's right. Source tells ET that Will Smith is embarrassed and hurt by Chris Rock's Netflix comedy special, Selective Outrage. The live performance was the first time the comedian addressed the Oscar slap publicly. Now, I mean, have you seen the special, Sha?
Oh yeah, I watched it live.
Yeah, like a lot of people are talking about apparently like they reached out to Will Smith the next day, and he said that he was hoping that Chris would drop it so that everyone could move on.
Yeah, I'm sure he was hoping that would happen.
Yeah, I remember I was reading these articles, and like it's all basically the same quote of like Will Smith was embarrassed and hurt that Chris Rock decided to talk about this, and that he wants everyone to kind of like collectively move on from it. And I'm like, yeah, because you did the embarrassing thing.
Yeah.
Like I feel like Chris hadn't addressed it at all, and I think he's allowed to. Also, I do think that like this is how he can best hit back, right? Realistically, like he acknowledges it in the special. Will Smith is a substantially bigger man than Chris Rock, so like physically they weren't going to spar as equals. But this is Chris's like real right hand, is to be able to verbally like say what he wanted to say. And right. I think Will deserves that. I feel like this was an opportunity for Chris to kind of make it even, and I don't think he really had done that. So right. I feel like Will kind of got to eat this.
Sure. Yes. No. Will, on some level, definitely has to eat it because Chris has been quiet this whole time, and Chris's job is working with words. And I think we all, on some level, knew that Chris would have, or we all hoped that Chris would have a joke about it, and that we'll just hear that when the time comes. I think a lot of people are like, why is he bringing up old shit? But it's like, well, he hasn't said anything about it. So just because he didn't say anything doesn't mean it's forgotten. Oh my goodness, no. It's just he was already starting to work on this hour when this happened. And so now he has to continue to work on the hour, but he knows if he says anything about it, whatever he says live at his shows will be on the internet before he gets backstage after saying goodnight.
Yeah.
So there's certainly that. My roommate saw Chris at Radio City Music Hall a few months ago.
Right.
So he watched a lot of the special with me and was like, yep, he said that, blah, blah, blah. And there was a sizable part that he didn't say that I think was the placeholder for how he ended regarding the slap and Will and Jada. So yeah, no, it was coming. It was delayed, and I understand why it was delayed, but it was coming. Now let's talk about the joke in question. What was said? Negro, please. Okay, look, Chris. I'm giving you all the caveats in the world. I understand you couldn't run that joke because people would say what you said, and it leaked like the day before the special came out.
Right.
Like the transcript of it or something. So we already knew kind of what the joke, possibly what some of the joke might be.
Yeah.
But the rest of that was pure emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And he's still angry, has every right to be. But wow. But wow, right? He's angry.
Yeah.
Basically the whole special, I thought, and y'all can come for me because I know Chris is one of the big ones.
Yeah.
And I done already come for Chappelle years ago when I thought he was just not evolving. There's an element of Chris Rock's comedy that I don't like, and that's usually when he is talking about women.
Okay. And
this special was heavy on that.
Okay. I could see that for sure.
So I already was like, nah, I'm not really trying to hear, about how as a 57, 58-year-old man, you trying to fuck young girls. Like, you don't have to tell us that, not in like a creepy way, but just like that's your preference. You ain't trying to be with any woman in their 40s or 50s. You're trying to be with younger women. You don't have to tell us that. Society tells us that all the time. We know. And you're not doing it in a way that is super funny to me. Like, we already got that from your last special when you talk about trying to holler at Rihanna and she looked at you like you were one of her uncles. Yeah. And how that felt. That to me was funnier.
That was funny, yeah.
Because he was talking about like, oh, ouch. Like that realization. Now we back to, have you ever tried to sleep with an older woman? You got to fix her roof. And I'm like, well, okay. Whatever, man. But yeah, like OJ jokes in the year of our Lord 2023. What we doing? This time he's trying to keep his daughter off of OnlyFans. When he said that, I turned to my roommate and was just like, man, it's just the pole. Everything's the pole. He's trying to keep Lola off the pole.
Yeah, there was a lot of this special that, like, I was like, I feel like I've heard you say this.
Yes, right.
Like, funny, I'll give you, but like,
I'll give you, sure. Yeah.
We've done this already.
Right. And hey, we get it. Recycle. I understand. Hey, remix and recycle.
Yeah, repurpose, baby.
But his performance fell off.
Yeah.
Like, it felt like he was just it felt like he was waiting for clapter, not laughter, clapter.
Mm.
And that's not something that I've gotten a sense that he was doing before. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like he would say something and he just seemed really juiced up. And he like in a excited, like trying to get this right because he knows he's got to get to this emotional thing at the end.
Yeah. And it's live.
And it's live. So he just seemed very hyped. And so I feel like there were things felt a little, I don't want to say forced, but definitely there were reactions that he was expecting that I don't think he got. There were a lot of times where he'd say something and he'd kind of pause. And I think he's waiting for the room to explode. And the audience was like, all right, yeah, man, I see what you mean. And like a slow build to like clapping.
Yeah, we agree.
Yeah, we see it. Yeah. So it may have been that audience as well was just like, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, like, where are you going to take us with this? And when he said something and he was like, oh, y'all, I see y'all thinking, where's he going with this? And they all laughed at that. Reminded me of when I tell my stand-up students, sometimes when it doesn't feel like the audience is with you and you acknowledge that the audience isn't with you and they laugh because then they're like, oh, okay, you sense it too. That is what that moment felt like to me.
Hey, it happens to the best. I really enjoyed watching this for reasons unrelated to the material.
Right.
Like, I enjoyed seeing one of the greats be flawed.
Yes.
You know, like I respect the fact that like he did this live. He made a mistake on one of the jokes. To your point, there was stuff that like there's laughs that he got that I felt were I'm a professional and I know how to sell this moment versus this joke is perfect. And like I don't think as a non-comedy person, I don't know if you appreciate how hard it is to do an hour tight enough live that it doesn't require edits afterward. Like you know, like I craft wise in terms of like the showmanship, I respected the hell out of what he did. Like that's hard. Material wise, I'm kind of with you for different reasons, ironic, or maybe you also felt like that about some of the other jokes. But like, the jokes that stood out to me that I was like, that's kind of like weird. Were that like, I'm okay. Like for example, the Will Smith thing. He clearly blames Jada. I'm like, all right, if you're gonna do that and you're gonna do it like the whole hometown thing, I get it. This is your reasoning, but then every other joke that day probably shouldn't be anti-woman. You know, like
probably not. Like if you
out a little bit.
If you're gonna put it all on this one woman,
yeah, just so
maybe
that
don't shit on the other ones.
Yeah, like yo, what did Meghan Markle do to you? Like she was just chilling by herself. She didn't do shit. She wasn't in the news yesterday.
Like, a lot of strays. A lot of people catching strays.
You know, so like, and like again, I'm not against any of those as examples. Even again, like the you want to bag young chicks thing. Any of the three you want to do, but like show like balance. You can't do those three as the only examples because then you make me start to question like, do I fuck with you as a person? Like, you know, like I started the special like, yeah, I fuck with Chris Rock. By the end, I was like, I don't know if I like the guy. Like, just attacking like women constantly made this dude sound weak over like and fully in control over his woman. Okay, I'll give you each of those as a one-off. But like when those are your only examples, it starts to sound to me like you just think women are evil. Like
yeah, a little bit. I mean, there was a way that I thought that he would go when talking about his daughter, the story about you know, her maybe being kicked out of school, or how he wanted to I liked where he started, where he's like, I don't want my kids to know anything about the hood.
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to, you know. And so he did, in essence, raised a privileged child. Right. But I thought he was going to go into what that feels like to realize that you've raised a privileged child.
Yeah.
And instead he just kind of ended with the privilege. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like with it ending with that story kind of ending with like, well, now she's in culinary school. And I'm like, well, that's great, but that's literally what rich kids do.
Yeah.
Just go to an expensive culinary school. Like that's like exactly what they do.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh, you may not know that because you're rich. So maybe you haven't seen how that plays out. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, then I guess maybe he's just in too deep. And so he has to, which is like fine, but it just feels like that just feels like a thing that he would have attached, that he would have noticed and kind of honed in on.
Yeah.
And instead it looked like, you know, here's a thing that happened with my daughter and she's fine. And I'm like, well, all right. That's cool. You know, the audience is like, I mean, great. So she goes to school in France. Like, that's what we expect. She's your daughter. You know what I mean? Real talk. It was like things like that where I think he wanted like to be carried out on people's shoulders. And they were just like, that's great. That's wonderful.
That's an Instagram post.
Yeah, that's not, you didn't show us a different way of viewing things, which is something that he's usually pretty good at picking up on.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, all right. But yeah, it was a lot of, and I mean, that's what he's always, it's not a shocker to me because that's kind of what he's always, when you watch his specials and we get through all of the stuff and then he gets to relationships with women.
Right.
That part always, I'm like,
not gonna
even on the last special that I enjoyed a great deal.
Yeah.
When he started talking about women, I got up and started washing dishes and just let it play behind me. Cause I'm like, I'm not,
And the thing, like, listen, I get it. Like, you specifically have been hurt. Like, I understand. You got divorced. You married someone that you wanted to build something with, and you lost half of your money. Yes, one woman hurt you.
Yes.
Also, acknowledge the role you played in it. You cheated on that woman with several other women. You know what I mean? That kind of like might have had something to do with it.
Right.
Just putting it out there, my G.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like that doesn't, there's a few billion of them. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe don't paint with the brush like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it threw me off because like I said, individually, I could rock with like any one of the things, but like I was like, yo, this is like a 40-minute stretch of like I don't fuck with women. Like, yo,
yeah, this is a lot. If I understand what the joke that he was telling while touring was politically based, but it basically was about the reason that Hillary lost was because she didn't go to all 50 states. Like Barack went to all 50 states when he was running, and Trump went to all 50 states when he was running, but Hillary didn't. And because that bitch didn't do that, that's why she stayed losing. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I guess that's about politics, but it's also about how a woman fucked up. Like, what are we doing?
I gotta cut this joke. I don't shit enough on women.
Yeah, he's like, this will be the placeholder until I get to the Will and Jada stuff, and then I'll take that out and put this in. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that's okay. I mean, and I must say, because I may get shit from this, from our listeners, from our troops and correspondents, because I always do. I am not saying that Chris Rock is a bad comedian. He's a fantastic comedian. Also, he gonna be all right. Also, where do I get off saying this? I ain't saying nothing that's not on Twitter right now. Calm down. But this is just, it's a pattern. And this time the pattern was kind of glaringly obvious because everything else wasn't as great as it could have been. Yeah. But like you said, seeing him, like when he flubbed the joke, I was like, oh, okay. But it didn't, to me, feel like, because he did say the joke and the joke still landed.
Yeah, it still landed.
So I like the flub didn't feel like that big of a flub. It really was just like, oh, I got the movies confused. Okay, anyway. And then he just
I
went ahead and said it. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, no, I mean, he's live and he's emotional right now. And he hasn't had a chance to run this so that it's super smooth. So of course you're going to flub something. And it wasn't even that big of a flub to me. It was just a confusion of the movie names that he then corrected and then kept going and could still land the thing. I think my problem was his mic drop. First of all, he threw the mic down because that's how labored it was. That mic drop is indicative of how kind of tough and labored that set was, and that he threw it instead of just dropping it like bam. He's just like, look, I'm throwing the mic down. And it's like, okay. And then what he said before it felt like the beginning of a joke where he was like, I have parents and I was raised not to fight in front of white people. And then he threw down the mic and walked off the stage. I was like, bruh, I know you're not done. I was raised not to fight in front of white people. That's what? That's where you stop.
Yeah, that was an interesting thought. I was like, okay.
I was like, let's go with that. Like, why? Why? Like, what is that? Okay, well, I guess you've already done your time. So,
and just I know It's become fashionable. Mics are fucking expensive. Can we stop?
Very expensive. Yo. So when he threw that down, I was like, oh shit, does Baltimore have it in them to fucking pay for that mic?
Yo, yeah, y'all just get out of pocket with these things, me.
I hope my Netflix doesn't go up because Chris Rock threw that fucking mic down.
Y'all are wilding over here, just throwing down slamming them like you want this to be the last time.
Slamming it on a hard floor. I was like, no, man, don't do that.
Yeah, if you any young comics listening to this show, if you are at a local show and you do that, that will be the last time you do that show.
Absolutely, and you may be blackballed from a few shows.
Yeah, word's gonna get around about you.
Do not drop or throw the mic. They ain't trying to hear that shit.
But yeah, with that said, I overall I laughed. I'm not anti Chris Rock. He's also still rich.
He's still rich. Good. He's gonna be fine. That's what I keep saying. He's gonna be fine. Yeah. We are two people deep in the bowels of Brooklyn. He's gonna be fine.
I'm happy that he got to get that off his chest. Straight up. And being real, the only reason I'm even able to say all this is because I expect so much from the dude. He's freaking brilliant when he's in his bag. So as a fan,
that's the other thing is I thought I was not like I didn't expect him to not be mad, but I thought it was going to be a little more nuanced than it was because he's so good, and that's what we expect from him.
To me, it was a fun show. It wasn't a special yet. It was close. The ideas were there, wasn't developed yet. Fun show. If I saw that live, I would have had a good time. I would have laughed.
I'd be fine. Yeah, right.
But like seeing it as a special, I'm like, there's some ideas that I didn't think were connected yet that I already see the potential for. But aren't ready to be recorded, and he had to record it because I get it. You gotta get the bag while the momentum is there. But that's all it is. I wanted to see it.
And I will say that also on Netflix, Some More has a new special.
Oh, how is that?
It's good. Yeah, it's good.
That. I had that on my queue.
I've been in a watching stand-up mood, so I'm burning through a bunch of them. So Some More special is very funny. Yeah, it is.
Rock on.
I'm a big fan of hers anyway, but it's very funny.
Rock, I gotta peep that. Last I saw was the new Nate on Amazon, which I also enjoyed.
I watched like half of that and then I fell asleep. Here's a funny fact about me. I fall asleep like 2/3 of the way into any hour special. So Nate, it's nothing personal. I also fell asleep on Kathleen Madigan, and that was a funny set too on Amazon. I like her. I dozed off on Some More. I stayed up on Rock because I was up doing shit because I didn't have to. I was like, I'm not going to sit through all of this, But no offense, Mark Maron. Wait, did I sleep through Mark Maron? No, I think I managed to stay awake for all of Maron. But yeah.
I just love that. Like that's how you review specials now.
I see like 2/3 of it. I doze off. I wake up and I'm like, let me just run that back a little bit, and then I watch the rest of it.
How good was that? Was a 3-nap special? Trash. Okay, 1-nap special, solid. You know what I mean? Kept me awake for most of that. That's
it's good stuff. It's good stuff. So
there have been exactly 4 no-nap specials.
And 30 minutes don't count. I can sit through your 30s. But once you get to an hour, I don't mean to. I could be loving all of it. And then it's just the soothing sounds of your voice. I just, what?
That's it. For me, it's an insulin drop. Everybody got their reason, but we all take naps at some point. In other news, Hoover girls denied basketball trophy after winning championship against the boys. That's right. A group of 5th grade Hoover girls forced to play boys in a recreational youth league were not recognized as champions despite winning the league title when the trophy was instead awarded to the boys who lost the game, according to the parents.
Oh, shit.
The girls who played in a competitive girls league for 3 years representing Spain Park were told they could not continue to use Hoover gyms for their practices unless they joined the city's youth recreational league and play with the boys. The girls were middle of the pack and lost tough games during the youth rec league season, according to Mashika, whose daughter was on the winning team. Playing the boys was a challenge they rose to meet, she said, It made them better players and a better team. In a Facebook post that went viral, Mashika said the girls were told before the title game that they could play in the championship, but if they won, they wouldn't be allowed to have the trophy. That's crazy. So sure enough, the fifth grade girls played their hearts out, left it all on the floor, battled the male counterparts, only to be told, nope, sorry, you don't count, according to the mom.
Yeah, that's kind of wild. This is in Hoover, Alabama, by the way, which some people may know. Years ago, MTV had like a reality show called 2-A-Days about a high school football team. And that was Hoover. It was Hoover High School.
That's what's up.
Yeah, so they were like right there, I think right outside of Birmingham, Alabama. So, you know, it's a town that's known for sports.
Yeah.
You know? But that is wild. Apparently there was some thing about like they don't have a lot of space, so if you want to play, you got to be part of the league, but I don't know why whoever wins the championship should just get the fucking trophy.
Yeah, they won it fair and square. As some of the residents were complaining, they're like, it's shameful. Live in Hoover, you have to pay Hoover taxes. Can't use facilities without joining their league, but then as a victor, you're shunned.
Oh yeah, that's terrible. That's so horrible. Give those girls a trophy.
Yeah, why they won fair and square. I mean, and if you were like one of the dudes that like lost, like just in general, that's not what sportsmanship should have been teaching you, right? Like, you played the whole season of that. Like, they won the game fair and square. Like, they should have the trophy.
Yeah. Also, it's like, do you want, if you're one of the dudes on the losing team, do you want that trophy?
Yeah, like, I wouldn't want that. You lost.
Like, I lost, but I still got that trophy. Like, why would you?
And like now you're gonna be like famously lost.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. You're in fifth grade or whatever, and now you
gotta tell that story forever.
Yeah, you're marked. Hey, weren't you one of the guys that lost to the girls but still got a trophy? And you're like, can't I just be in study hall in peace? Like you hadn't even gone through high school yet.
And this is dope. I like stuff like this because like this is still like right at the cutoff where like puberty is still fair for like sports. So I think this is cool. Like, I feel like in fifth grade, it should still be co-ed in a lot of these sports. You know what I mean? Like, I think like around like junior high school is when you start noticing like, okay, like clearly this guy might be too big to play like dodgeball with the girls. But like fifth grade is kind of still on that cusp. I'd even argue that's kind of like when some of the girls are usually taller than the boys for a little bit.
Yeah, you know? Yeah, probably.
So I think it's fair. Like I don't think it's an uneven match, and clearly they did it. You know what I mean? They brought the ruckus. You know what I mean? That's what's up. That zone defense is crazy. You know? I'm all about this. Like, I think this is fire. Yeah, I love all of this. I'm so. I told you. Every time I see stories like this, I get like reminded of like. I had my daughter first. Didn't know I was going to have more kids. Obviously, both kids were surprises to me. Admittedly, I did nothing to prevent it, so like I should have been more aware by the same token that they were coming. But yeah, when we had like when Michaela like was like literally out the womb, like she couldn't understand a word in the world. I was telling her consistently every night, like, yo, boys are tough, girls are tougher. Like that's ingrained in her, Sha. Like I said that every time I left the house. Every time I put her to bed, I said that. When my son was born, I still kept saying that shit. You know? But like, cause I wanted her to like, yo, like I want to keep like her energy up. And I didn't know I didn't know that she's gonna be like the hyper competitive one as is. You know, like she didn't need any extra from me for that. You know, but like I just in case I wanted her to know, like, yo, you could stand up to any of these dudes. And then like when they were like 4 and 5, like I'd noticed that she would like bully ball my son. And I'm like, yo, what you doing? She's like, cause I'm tougher than him. Damn, I'm like, yo, like don't be shitting on my kid either. Like, you know, like, that was like general positive vibes in the world. But like, you like this kid, right? He's like, yeah, but like we playing. I'm like, yeah, but don't put him down. Like I need him to win, so I had to tone it down a little bit.
Don't shit on my kid, though.
Yo, she over here like posting them up. I'm like, he's like legitimately a year younger than you. Like you tower over this kid,
Oh my God.
Oh my God. But I love seeing girls win. I think it's dope, sincerely. But yeah. I just picture
Happy Women's History Month, everybody.
Hell yeah, yo. But it's like when I read an article like that, I just know that there was like 12 sets of parents telling their daughters, like, yo, fuck them dudes. Y'all can take them, And like they legit took them. And like I think that's fire. But like also some of them girls got little brothers that like is going to be scared for the rest of their life now.
Yeah. I mean, because I wonder what coaching was being told to the guys.
Mm-hmm.
If they were just like, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just play like it's a slightly tougher scrimmage than usual. You'll be fine. You can. Yeah. I wonder if the girl team kind of got into the heads of the boys team as they started to like pull away.
Yo.
If the boys team was just like, I'm losing to girls.
Straight up. And the audience said it. I promise you there was people yelling at him.
I bet parents were screaming that at him.
Yeah.
But they don't get a trophy just because they've got in their own head. Yeah.
Oh, man. In other news, bionic eye tech aims to help blind people see. Once upon a time, there was some unusual Australian sheep with exceptionally sharp eyesight. The small flock spent 3 months last year with bionic artificial eyes surgically implanted behind their retinas. These sheep were part of a medical trial that aims to ultimately help people with some types of blindness to be able to see. The specific aim of the sheep test was to see if the devices in question, the Phoenix 99, caused any adverse physical reactions. The bionic eye was said to have been well tolerated by the animals. As a result, an application has now been made to start testing on human patients.
Hold on now. We're putting bionic eyes.
Oh, yeah, baby.
In people who are blind now? That's what we're going to do?
Yo, $6 million man's about to be the realness, shot.
I can't believe look, this is not what I saw for me in the future.
You ain't get LASIK now, I got bionic eyes.
Yeah, like that's not already. I mean, that LASIK stuff, I was just like, with lasers? Nah. So now we're just going to put machinery. We literally are we're just going to become robots. That's what we're going to do.
I can't download the pictures off my phone. Okay.
Right.
I'm not trying to download memories.
A robot when I can't. When a SIM card just went bad because.
Oh man, yo, why'd you get in this car accident? So my left eye stopped working. I didn't charge it before I left the house.
Yeah, I didn't charge it before I left.
Yeah, I mean,
and I don't have the right connection. I need a lightning port.
Straight up, my car only got UBC.
Yeah,
I got that USB-C connection over here.
Yeah, so it's no good. It's outdated. I gotta buy a whole new car now because my left eye won't work.
I mean, got a virus in my left eye. Like, oh, you sick? Nah.
I can't. I don't. Look, I get it. We're putting titanium hips in people, right? We were putting, I don't know, knees made out of milk cartons in folks. I get it that we're doing all this kind of stuff, but we also have a lot of water in us. Most of us, anyway. I don't know if I do, but most of us have a lot of water in us. Isn't this stuff gonna rust?
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, I'm sure it worked for the sheep, but are we a 1-to-1 comparison with sheep? Then what are we doing with all these mice? Which animal is the closest to us? Is it sheep? Is it pigs? Is it mice?
Word. That's fair.
Let's build an animal out of the parts that correspond to us. So like a pig's heart, right? Haven't we already put a pig's heart in a human? I think we did that.
Like we did that. If not, we just made it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it seems plausible because they've been fucking with pigs' hearts for a while. I think that was a thing that was done.
Right.
So now, I mean, rodents have been taking the brunt of everything that we have. Any drug that we have has been run through by lab rats, and now we're putting stuff in sheep. I don't know, man.
And we know the pig heart thing happened in January last year. 57-year-old man with terminal heart disease received the genetically modified pig heart. So yeah,
genetically modified. So he got a GMO fucking pig heart.
It wasn't a grass-fed heart? Nope.
It wasn't. No.
Nah, man. Couldn't get this at Trader Joe's. Nah, man.
No.
It's the real.
A Monsanto heart.
Yo, man, get ready for your bionic eyes. It's going to be great. I'm wondering if, like, there's going to come a point where, like, if you're an athlete, you might get injured on purpose to get, like,
just to get the new parts.
You know what I mean? Like, I only see, like, 20/40, but, you know what I mean? With my bionic eyes, I haven't struck out since. You know what I mean? I see every baseball.
I don't want that. I want that for our drivers. Give that to our taxi drivers. Those are the people who need to see.
You know what I mean? Titanium hips. You can't miss field goals if you got titanium hips.
I'll take a titanium hip. I mean, I think I don't know. I honestly hadn't done enough with my actual hips to warrant. No need putting titanium in me just to have grass grow over it. So maybe not.
That's fair.
I'll take a milk carton hip, I guess. I'll take one of those if you got any of those still laying around.
I'm pro all the technology. Let me know when y'all want to slice me up. I'm with it.
I mean, I guess I do tend to leave my phone and my laptop plugged into the charger, so I guess I could remember to charge myself.
There you go.
I guess, but I don't know. It just feels weird.
I just know, like, if I ever like ran out of battery when I came back, I would be yelling at my kids about it. Like, you ain't plugging your father. You see me out here working. I don't got time to. That's your responsibility. Okay, come on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You can't trust teenagers. Teenagers run the world with only 3% juice on a phone. They can go a whole day with running on 3%. So
they understand their phones.
Yeah, but they don't understand their parents.
In other news, apparently, if you hate your signature, you can have plastic surgery for your autograph, Sha. That's right.
Stop it. No. 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 We putting bionic eyes in people now. They're changing how. No. Guess what? You just have shitty handwriting. That's what that is. If you a grown ass person and you don't like your signature, do you know you can change it? Did you know you could change? It's your choice. That's literal free will. You don't like how it looks? Try writing it a different way. I did it.
Yeah.
I have nice handwriting. It's one of the few things about myself I'm proud of. Respect. I have nice handwriting. But with that nice handwriting and cursive, I still do cursive. I love a cursive.
Hell yeah.
When writing my name in cursive to sign stuff, it took too long. I'm doing all the loops and the connecting and all the stuff. Took me too long.
Yeah.
So I said, all right, I got to figure out a way to write it faster, but it still look cool.
Right.
But I also wanted to write out my name. I didn't want to just write it S line.
Right.
I want it because I'm a Leo. You're going to see the whole name. So I opted to do it in the way that I do it, which is like kind of all caps and very quickly. And I remember when I made that switch and I was with my dad somewhere and I was signing something and he went, all caps? And I'm like, hey, man, no one asked you.
That's kind of hard, actually. I rock with that.
Yeah. And because he was like a big L, big S person with a little bit of squiggle. And I was like, I can't be just a big letter, a little squiggle. I got to be all caps. And he's like, I mean, okay, but it seems like that's easy to copy. And I'm like, not the way I write it. Look at me. I'm doing it. I've been practicing. You can do it, everybody. You don't need plastic surgery. All right. Anyway, you can continue to read. I want to see what else to say. I just want to go on record of saying that's insane.
Oh my God. So doctors, lawyers, celebrities, there's a new cosmetic surgery of sorts that has snared them all. By that we mean handing over money to hire Oh, a calligrapher for a fresh take on writing one's name in cursive. So you kind of on the ball there with a pen or another writing implement on paper. This is kind of a corner of TikTok, Instagram, and other social media. This is dedicated to signature design, and it keeps practitioners busy. Priscilla Molina, for example, in Los Angeles, does a minimum of 300 custom signatures a month, offering packages that include up to 3 ways to sign, limitless drafts, or a new set of initials. She charges between $10 and $55 using the motto, where originality meets legacy.
Okay, look. Okay, great. So you pay someone
and they like design a new signature for you.
And then what? What happens when you have to sign? Do you learn how to do that?
I would hope so, right? Melina said her planet of names clients include professionals and famous people in searches of new ways to sign autographs, though her lips were sealed on the high-profile people. In general, Melina said people come to her for signature makeovers for a simple reason. They're tired of the way they sign their names. I would assume she's teaching them. Like, if she's like, yeah, I could do this, good luck.
Okay. All right. So it's just a different. You could also take calligraphy classes.
There you go.
I know people who do that. I've considered it myself. I like lettering. I like writing things out. But like,
okay, I see. She offers. She and others, they offer templates and stencils, so that way.
I'm not signing with I got to carry a stencil with me, please.
Well, you got to practice so that it becomes your new signature.
Oh my God. See, this is the problem. Everybody's on their phone. Nobody has a notebook and a pen next to them to just write shit. Look, I have always within reach. Always. I have a full notebook next to me.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. So if you do that and then you just absentmindedly write and you're like, I wonder what happens if I tilt all my letters. Is no one curious? Are we just going to pay someone to do that?
Now, I mean, see what happens when you don't doodle no more? Doodling.
Nobody doodles.
Nobody doodles.
I draw little ink blots in meetings, just not because I'm not paying attention, but it helps me pay attention.
Yeah.
If my hand is just kind of absentmindedly doing a thing, weirdly, I am paying attention to what the person is saying.
I was telling this to my son. I was like, yo, like when you're in class and you can't focus, doodle. That way you're still like actively doing something, and like some of it will kind of register. And when something really interesting happens, your brain is still semi-attentive and you'll jump right back in. He gave me a valid response though. He's like, I don't know how to doodle on the iPad and while I'm typing. And I was like, that's fair. Like, that's why we have paper like everywhere else. But yeah, that's a fair thing. Like, he's like, you can't have like two things open, like a doodle paper and the notes, you know, like it's just weird. So yeah, I was like, I hear you. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but that's probably why I don't take notes on
an iPad,
tablets or phones or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like if left to my devices, I would write it all down.
Yeah.
Because then I kind of remember where I was when I write a thing down.
Yeah.
And that helps with the memory part. Whereas if I'm typing, I'm too worried about fucking dropping whatever it is I'm typing on that I just spent a grip to get. And so
I'm with you. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not intuitive, I guess. But I guess this is for people who need to have a very fancy kind of signature. I don't know. Just fucking practice, run that through. I just feel like if you take calligraphy and you want to try and figure out a way to make money off of it, nobody is sending thank you cards anymore, so they can't hire you to do the addresses, or you can't make your own fonts or whatever. I mean, make your money. Hustle. But I also kind of feel like it's taking the fun out of handwriting. And maybe that's a wild thing to say because nobody writes by hand anymore. But it takes the fun out of it to kind of figure out, oh, I like it if I do it like this.
That's going to be an article like in like 10 years, like how to spark the romance. And it'll be like send handwritten notes.
Oh, they do that. They say that now.
Yeah, like,
absolutely.
Nobody's
they
seen
say
them
that
shit
now
anymore, B.
Yeah, I just think when you make up a coupon for a back rub for my birthday gift, I think I like it better when you've written it in crayon than when you've printed it out.
That's real. If you would like some calligraphy lessons for Shalewa Sharpe, all you gotta do is subscribe to the show, baby.
I'll do that.
There you go. If you are an Apple or Spotify listener, we appreciate your ratings. 4 stars. You haven't seen how good a handwriting is and what you're missing out on. 5 stars, you know the brilliance of her work. You'd realize this is how she pays her bills. She's been teaching people how to write for years. If you have any articles you want us to cover, please DM us directly on Twitter and Instagram at Silky Jumbo or at Gastor Almonte. Shout outs this week to Brandy Spain and Lori McDaniels. Also, shout out this week to the many people who DM'd me videos of some lady roasting vermin on the streets of New York that apparently went viral a year ago, and we went viral again this week. Way too many troops and correspondents was asking me about hey, are New Yorkers eating rats this week? We are not. That was
we're not.
Yeah,
we're not.
I promise you, it's never getting that rough.
No. We got to work with them every day.
Straight up, those are good people.
Yeah.
But yes, the video's all scary. I saw way too many of them things this week. Sincerely, thank you for the concerns. But yeah, the second that happens, we would have mentioned it. We would have been real hard on Patreon for the first time ever. Hey, listen, we got to launch. We out here eating rats.
Right? Yes.
That'd have been the first line in our pitch. With all that said, I am the never eaten vermin, but could use help with my signature, Gastor Almonte. You know what I mean? Always with the also never eaten vermin, but already mastered her signature, Shalewa Sharpe. This has been admittedly a fully tight, but probably the last time I'm going to handwrite all these episodes from now on. That's the Hoover Report. Catch y'all next time. Peace.